No. This will be warm up. So we'll have a little bit, we'll be starting at 190 and then go up from there. I will be questioning.
I will answer.
For the record, have you turned those bills over to your attorneys?
Have I done what?
Have you turned those newer bills over to your attorneys, the ones that you have had since?
No.
In your answers to interrogatories, you say that you are taking medication for your nerves. What is that medication?
Librium.
When did you start taking that?
Oh, a few years back. I take it not often, but it is for my nerves. Like when my back gets to hurting so bad, that is the reason I go back to the chiropractor. He relieves those nerves in my back.
Have you been taking Librium for 5 years?
Not regular.
Off and on?
Off and on.
For longer than 5 years?
No, something like that.
Aside from Dr. Jones, Dr. Sinai, Dr. Reschke, and his assistant, have you been treated by any other doctors in the last 5 years?
No.
Are there any activities that you were able to engage in prior to this accident that you can't now?
Yes.
What are they?
All my yard work, which I dearly loved. I can't vacuum.
Let's stick with the yard work for a minute. What is it that you can't do in the yard?
I can't do anything.
Did you used to mow the lawn? You did? And you can't now?
No.
How about weeding?
I can't weed because I can't get over to it. I mean, I can't bend.
Before the accident, did you do all the yard work?
Yes.
Who does it now?
Well, my husband does part of it, and I hire most of it out.
Who do you pay to do it?
Oh, I have different ones. My grandkids and I pay them. Don't have to, but I do so. They will come back.
What are the names of the grandchildren that do the yard work?
Jeff and Melinda Lupp.
Love?
Lupp, L-U-P-P.
How much do you pay them?
I gave them $40 each time they come.
How often do they come?
Well, during the summer months, they come quite often, but now they haven't been out in quite a while.
Do you do anything in the yard now?
No.
Prior to the accident, did you ever have anybody help you?
No.
Never?
No.
Your husband didn't do any yard work?
No.
Then you started to mention vacuuming. That is difficult now?
That I can't do, or sweep or mop.
You can't do any of those things?
I can, but it hurts awful bad.
Do you have somebody to do those things for you?
No, I just do it myself.
You just do it yourself?
Uh-huh. Dirty housekeeper.
Any other activities that you have problems with now?
Well, like getting up in the car, I can't twist my back the way. We have a camper and I can't get up into that and anything that calls for back work. It is just out of the problem. Out of the question, I mean.
What?
Anything where I have to pull up or step up, it just wouldn't maneuver.
When you say you have difficulty pulling and stepping up in maneuvering, is the difficulty in your back or in your legs?
Right in the lower part of my back.
Your legs don't bother you when you try to climb or twist?
No.
Any other activities that you can think of?
That I can't do?
Right.
Well, I can't stand very long at a time.
Does this affect anything that you might want to do?
Anything I go to do, like make a bed or something like that, I just about die. It takes me quite a while to make that bed.
So you sit in your chair and vibrate for a while and then finish what you are doing?
Right.
Have you ever made a claim arising out of an accident or anything else against any other person?
No.
Has anyone ever made a claim against you?
No.
You spoke to a policeman at the scene of the accident, told him what happened. That was Officer
Holmes.
Holmes? Did you talk to that policeman or anyone else investigating the accident after that?
After the accident?
Right.
Other than Holmes is all.
I think that is it. Okay. This is different material for warm-up. We're speeding up now to 200, beginning with a question for the record. But it was a plan in Scott's head?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a plan. It was a thought.
A thought in Scott's head?
Yep.
All right. You told Scott, don't get involved in this thing?
Yep.
And you also said that Scott kept telling you about this plan, didn't you?
No.
Well, you kept telling him up until March 8th, don't get involved in this thing, right?
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about the plan of us jacking him, because there never was a plan. He told me a couple times that they had intentions on doing it, and I told him.
They, meaning Scott, Joel, and Chris?
No, as in Joel and Chris.
I see. And so you don't you say, well, Scott, how come you know all this stuff? Did you ever ask him that?
No.
He says,
I asked him why he's involved, why he's talking to them about it.
you asked him, why are you involved in this thing?
Yep.
Like you are planning on doing something yourself, right? It's stupid. It's what you told him, right?
No.
What did you tell him?
He didn't have plans on doing it himself. I'm not sure if they brought it up to him, but that's why I was telling him, hey, you might not want to go, man, or have any part of it.
You might not want to go or have any part in it, right?
Uh-huh.
But he kept kind of leading you to believe, you got the impression that he was going to do something, right?
Nope.
Then why did you keep telling him you might not want to go?
I didn't keep telling him.
Well,
I told him it was because they were getting brought up. I was just assuring him, hey, don't have nothing to do with it. It's not because he had intentions on going.
you know Coley?
Nope.
Do you know a guy named Coley?
Just from hearing it from Scott.
And Scott hang with a guy named Coley?
I'm not sure if he hung with him. He knew who he was.
Coley?
Or is.
Coley is a drug dealer, right?
I have no clue.
Well, Scott must have mentioned the guy as a drug dealer and gun runner.
No.
Scott told you the guy was involved in guns, right?
Yeah.
That guy wanted to sell Kevin a Tech 9, right?
I'm not sure.
An assault weapon, right?
I'm not sure if that got brought up. I know he likes guns.
You heard
That's about as far as it goes brought up.
you heard about the Tech 9 though, didn't you?
I don't remember what was said about it.
What's a Tech 9?
A gun.
A machine pistol?
I would imagine so.
You know what it is. You've seen them, haven't you?
Not in real life.
You've seen them in TV, the pistol, got along.
Yeah, okay.
The thing that you slide the bullets and a magazine, you just squeeze that trigger and shoot bullets all day until you run out, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So you knew that was being discussed, correct, at the time?
What was being discussed? I don't get what you are saying here.
You know there was a gun, a Tech 9 being discussed?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he wanted to sell it to him. He wanted to buy one. I'm not sure. They didn't discuss that with me.
Now, so you are aware that Kevin either you don't know who wanted to buy that?
Yeah, exactly.
But you figured that around that time that Kevin could be in possession of a Tech 9?
Definitely.
And so you didn't want to pick up the phone and call the police and tell them anything, did you?
Yep.
Because that would involve you, right?
Yep. I figured if anyone was to do it, it would be Scott.
And did you encourage him to do it?
Yeah, I told him that he might want to be the smart thing.
Now, have you ever seen a picture of you and Kevin together? The DA ever show you a picture of the two of you hugging each other?
No, definitely not.
No. Okay. Did you ever take pictures together with Kevin?
Nope.
Was he a good friend of yours?
Yeah, he was a friend of mine.
You know Sabrina?
Yep.
She a good friend of yours?
I wouldn't call her a good friend, but she was a friend of mine.
And you knew Kevin, and you know him on a personal level or just business?
No, I knew him also somewhat of a personal level.
And did you guys get down and smoke
Yeah, we have.
often?
No, I wouldn't say often.
So you indicate that you're no longer interested in doing any kind of jacking of Kevin. So the prosecutor asked you, did you bother calling him, your buddy, your friend, give him a call, tell him what's up?
No, I never heard from them. I wasn't sure what kind of plans they had. I'm not going to call Kevin and tell him something that is not even true.
Okay. And so on after March 8th, after you learned this information about Kevin wanted to jack you, you went over to Kevin's house, didn't you?
Definitely not.
Never went there together with Scott?
Nope, never have I been there with Scott.
After you learned about?
Before, after, never have I been there with Scott.
Never have you been there with Scott?
Uh-uh.
And so you say you are over at Scott's house the night before this incident happened or the night of it, there's a knock on the door?
Uh-huh.
Did you hear the knock?
Yeah.
Had you been smoking at that time?
I'm not quite sure.
Let's go 14. And had Scott been smoking?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, how long had you been there before you heard the knock?
Probably not long. I'd say around 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Isn't it customary that as soon as you get there, you light up?
No,
And you had been smoking before you got there, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but most likely you had. You are accustomed, you smoke throughout the day, right?
Not necessarily every day.
No big deal? Okay. And you hear a knock on the door. What happens?
Scott goes outside.
Well,
I guess talks to him.
how do you know?
Just from what Scott said. I didn't see the guy myself. I wasn't peeking through the door. I was watching TV.
Okay, what were you watching?
TV, I'm not sure.
Okay, and so you say Scott goes outside.
Uh-huh.
And how long is he out?
Few minutes.
Okay, you smoking inside?
No.
Okay, and then what happens? Scott comes back in?
Yep.
Tells you what?
That he had a gun, showed him a gun.
Yeah, and what?
And that he had taken the night off work.
Okay, did he tell you he saw anything else?
Yeah, he said a potato. He pulled out a gun, a potato, and he had taken the night off work, and that's it.
Okay, so what did you ask him about that?
I didn't ask him nothing.
Well, you saw, I take it, where did you think in your mind at that time that Joel was going?
I wasn't sure. I didn't talk to him myself.
Well, what did you think?
I didn't know what his intentions were.
Okay, and so did Scott tell you
What?
what his intentions were?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. We're having a day. It must be Monday, huh? Okay, then. Let's...
Two?
Yes, surely. And so did Scott tell you?
What his intention were?
Yeah, where he was.
In the past, not necessarily that night. I knew what they had thought about.
Okay, so as you sat.
So I kind of assumed.
Okay, so as you sat there, when Scott comes back in and he tells you about a gun, what kind of gun was it?
He didn't say.
And did he describe the potato?
No.
Well, what did you think the gun and the potato were for?
Silence it, I guess. I'm not sure.
How did you know that?
Because it's a fact.
What's a fact?
Movies, whatnot.
What movies have you seen where they put a potato on the end of a gun?
I'm not sure.
You've seen a movie though, right?
No, like I say, I'm not sure if it was a movie or not. I heard or something somewhere along those lines.
Finish your answer, please.
I'm done.
Okay, maybe we are.